Howdy partners, it's so good to be here again to talk about films. I had my wisdom teeth torn out earlier this week, but I am on the mend. I'm feeling a little bit better today. Finally able to smile and talk properly. No matter, today we are here to talk about the latest Spike Lee joint, Highest to Lowest. Spike Lee has made some classics in the past, though his filmography is a little hit or miss, though I will say in the last few years he's been on a total tear. And this is a film that will be releasing on Apple TV Plus in a few weeks from now, though it has a limited theatrical release. And I gotta say, I am surprised that there's only one cinema in Montreal that is playing this film. And just so happens that I've never been to Cinema du Musée, so it was a good opportunity to check it out. And I gotta say, I had a lovely experience. I'll definitely go back. I don't know why I waited so long to go check it out. In any case, this film is a modern New York City reinterpretation of the classic Akira Kurosawa film titled High and Low that came out in 1963. I regret that I still haven't seen this Kurosawa film. It is considered as one of his unsung masterpieces apparently. And from what I gather, Spike Lee uses this classic material as a springboard to talk about modern issues while staying true to the plot of the original film, which itself was a loose adaptation from a book. This is a story of this influential music producer named David King, played by none other than Denzel Washington, who is collaborating with Spike Lee for the 5th time. Their last collaboration was back in 2006 with Inside Man, and he is trying to regain greater control over his record label company. So he's gathering whatever financial resources he has at his disposal, which are quite large. There's no doubt that he's a terrifically successful businessman with a philanthropic soul that supports the new emerging talent from the African American community in New York City. But the times have changed and the music industry is evolving, and the record label isn't nearly as successful as it used to be, and there is a genuine fear that they might never be able to reach the peak of success that they had back in their heyday. Still, David King holds on to those dreams of supporting authentic local voices, which is a noble pursuit. Unfortunately, tragedy strikes and gets in the way of that dream. A kidnapper mistakenly captures his chauffeur's son rather than his own and asks for a whopping $17.5 million ransom, which jeopardizes not only his artistic ambitions with his record label, but also puts the entire financial well-being of his family at risk, without even mentioning the safety of his dear friend and chauffeur's son, which some may correctly argue that it's the more priority issue at hand. So as you can see, it's quite the problem our protagonist is facing. And usually he's the man with all the answers regardless how much risk is involved, but this time he is genuinely stumped. And as the film progresses, it builds to this chaotic fever pitch like only a Spike Lee film can explore. And it's totally riveting. I obviously won't spoil how things play out, but I do think the middle of the film is a bit of a mixed bag in its execution. I can't believe I'm saying this, but my biggest gripe in this film is regarding the tone, especially when it comes to the use of music. And now, hold your horses, it's a bit of a double-edged sword because the rest of the film is a total highlight when it comes to music. More on that in a moment. But with all the drama regarding the kidnapper and the ransom, the soundtrack at those moments was so heavy-handed and, I dare say, upbeat for such a serious and dangerous moment. It generally clashed with the vibe and kind of took me out of the experience for a decent amount of time. It's generally rare that I feel like this in a film, and I wonder if I'm the only one who had this kind of reaction. Please let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. And after having seen the film and reflect on it a moment, I think it's generally ironic that I have this piece of criticism regarding the film. Because at its core, the film wrestles with the way we coexist with our passions. One of the key scenes in this film for me is this healthy tough love moment from David's wife, where she challenges him in a really meaningful way. She brings forth the idea that perhaps he doesn't love music the same way he used to. Gone are the days when he would come back home late because he was too busy listening to his new artist that he discovered that would just have him exalted with emotions. Now whenever he talks about music, it's not about the art itself, but just about the business and how things have changed. And he barely has 60 seconds to spare for any new artist trying to get their moment in the spotlight in front of him. So all that passion has dissipated into just very managerial tasks. So perhaps in some strange way, it makes sense that the music is so overbearing at that moment in the film, where David King is having this current moment of moral turmoil, if you will. Maybe I'm reading into this way too deep, but it is an interesting thought at the very least. Now, musically, the moments that really resonate with me are the live performances from those artists trying to get their moment in the spotlight, as I mentioned. But I think most notable in the film, the one that screams loudest, is this Puerto Rican festival, which was absolute fire. Everything surrounding that scene was so much fun. And it also happened to be this bit of a cultural melting pot moment in the film, with not only the Puerto Rican culture, but also with all the Yankee craze in the film. Jesus Christ. I'm not super well versed in that realm of sports, but it almost seems like a cultish vibe. I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone for saying that. And perhaps you may have heard, but A$AP Rocky does make an appearance in this film, and I didn't know anything about his character going to this film, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out who he's going to play. In any case, the scene where A$AP Rocky and Denzel Washington do come face to face with each other, oh god, that was an incredible and tense moment, and Denzel Washington's acting is just total fire in that scene. It was such a joy to just see him ride that wave the way he did, and it's a scene you do not want to miss this year. And also, the song that A$AP Rocky made for this film is a total banger, and I love how it ties into the story of the film. So I do love the way Spike Lee brings back all the core thematics of this film and wraps them up in a really meaningful way by the end. It was a bit of a spotty experience around the midpoint, as I mentioned, but it did win me over big time by the time we got to the end of it, which is why I'm ranging from a 7.5 to maybe an 8 out of 10. And on a personal level, I particularly appreciate how it reminded me of not taking my passions and craft for granted. Do anything for long enough and you can get a little bit jaded, even the best of us. But I do find myself in a current moment in my life where I'm reminded that I am exactly where I want to be, or I always wanted to be, and what I see in my current and near and further future is just as exciting as it's ever been, if not even more so. So I count myself very blessed, and I feel like this film is yet another reminder of that and just further invigorates that passion. So as you can see, I really enjoyed myself today at the cinema. So with all that being said, wishing you and your loved ones nothing but the best. Take care and talk to you soon. It's so weird not having wisdom teeth anymore. I don't know how I feel about it.